volunteers distribute emergency cash to flood survivors in Huangmei County, China. A Tzu Chi scholarship recipient volunteers to reciprocate Tzu Chi's assistance. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Due to heavy rain in Hubei's Huangmei County, 9 townships were flooded. Upon hearing the news, city volunteers made 5 visits to affected areas. During the most recent visit, volunteers gave out emergency cash and daily supplies. They helped 533 households. Since the first visit back in July, city volunteers based in Wuhan are visiting Huangmei County for the 5th time. Volunteers are ready to go at 4 in the morning, departing at exactly 5 a.m. Since 9 towns and townships were affected, 100 volunteers had to plan 3 different routes, splitting into smaller groups. Familiarized with volunteers since July, residents in Zhuogang Town and Dahe Town welcomed their visit.
I'm happy, but I feel bad for volunteers because the volunteers and leaders that came here must have worked hard. Through the assistance of Tzu Chi Foundation, they have provided a frontier support to our county. It's very appreciated. As I said yesterday, in the future, I will join this team, helping more people, spreading the healthy cycle.
2020 has been a tough year for people living in Hubei, with the virus outbreak in the first half year followed by flooding. Some unaffected residents joined volunteering, showing their spirit of mutual assistance.
When everyone's living in tough times, Tzu Chi was the one to help firsthand. I think this also matches with our cultural spirits, which is practiced and continued by Tzu Chi brothers and sisters now.
The idea of helping friends and helping neighbors was encouraged and taught by Tzu Chi volunteers to locals.
Like how we came from Wuhan to Huangmei to bring love to Huangmei, you may also start from caring people around you to loving your neighbors. Let's continue the love and spread it infinitely.
Volunteers brought emergency cash money and 13 items of life supplies per package, helping 533 poor households.
I've heard from many people that when they receive supplies from you, including the emergency cash, they felt warm in their hearts.
Thank you and bless you. Bless both of you. I hope both grandpa and grandma can have a healthy body and have a peaceful and safe life.
For residents that are unable to join volunteers at the event for distribution, volunteers visit their homes in person to hand in supplies. Although the flooding had destroyed the homes of residents, but the love cycle initiated by city volunteers had planted a good seed amongst communities. In Fuding City in Fujian of China, city volunteers have been promoting environmental protection in Xikun village. Recently, the local government has joined hands with Tzu Chi to revive the culture. City volunteers and doctors went to the elderly villagers' homes to provide medical care and love. Xikun village in Fuding City is the largest gathering place for Confucius descendants in Jiangnan. Tzu Chi and the local government are working together to revive the culture. Their first mission is to promote filial piety.
People say that filial piety is the most important of all virtues. It teaches our Tzu Chi culture. We carry our recycling here. Today, we are visiting some elderly bodhisattvas who are dedicated to recycling. They work hard to support our recycling mission.
In the village, residents are mostly seniors, and most of them still do labor work. As volunteers visit them, doctors from Fuding City Hospital also provide house calls, solving the seniors' health problems.
Many seniors suffer from mobility issues due to their old age. They have high blood pressure, diabetes, vision problems, and cannot leave their homes. They need medical professionals to visit them to solve their deterioration problems. We have encountered some seniors who cannot see or they suffer from poor vision. This is a visual impairment due to their old age. We cannot help them, but we can only give them spiritual support. Witnessing their suffering, we've learned that we are so blessed. We are also very grateful that they've given us a chance to cultivate our blessings.
造福的一个机会。
Going to the seniors' homes to provide medical care and love, the doctors have also learned much and reaffirmed their initial aspiration to practice medicine. 96-year-old Lin Cheng-e is the first Tzu Chi volunteer in Yingge District in New Taipei City. She has been volunteering with Tzu Chi for nearly 30 years. Although Lin Cheng-e is old and injured her knee, her daughter and daughter-in-law also joined Tzu Chi to pass on her mother's wish. In the early days, when I learned that Tzu Chi was going for relief, I quickly prepared stuff for the charity sale, selling different stuff in winter and summer. I keep doing it all the time, hoping to raise a little more donations so that Master can save people.
Lin Cheng-e, 96 years old, joined Tzu Chi in 1988, always following visits to the poor and street fundraising. In 1992, she was certified as Yingge's first Tzu Chi seed.
The master took my mother's hand and said, "Your Yingge soil is very fertile. Today I'll bring you a handful of seeds back to plant." When she walked out to the door, my mother said his master was really strange and she wanted to give me a handful of seeds, but my hand was empty and gave me nothing. She didn't understand anything, so we came back.
Now this seed has bloomed. It's like a big family doing good deeds together with one heart.
When we went out to visit the poor in the early days, we all rode in a 9-seater van. She prepared all the food throughout the day. She's like her mother, so she's called Mom.
Every day she wakes up, the first thing she does is to do Tzu Chi. When she visited the poor, she needs to take a walk, right? But her legs don't work well. She also walks.
When we began to join Tzu Chi because of her, we did Tzu Chi in Yingge and we took root in Yingge.
Now with her daughter and daughter-in-law taking over the Tzu Chi mission, Lin Cheng-e's teaching by example has become the best example.
Today, we take you to Tzu Chi Muzha Recycling Education Station. The recycling station began under a wax apple tree in 1988 and was moved in 2010. The newly established station allows more volunteers to work.
Near the Beishi River and Jingmei River, Tzu Chi's Muzha Recycling Educating Center is close to nature and brings much positivity to the community. If recycling had been a field of study, volunteer Lai Zijia would have reached a doctorate by now, as he has been at this for 17 years.
If you don't remove the food containers and milk boxes, we would only receive $1 NT per kilogram from recycling. We have to separate things carefully to receive $3 NT per kilogram.
When Lai started doing recycling, he practiced at Xie Tianwen's 200 square meter land, a place where Mr. Xie provided for Tzu Chi to sort recyclables in 1998.
At the time, the Tzu Chi brothers and sisters set up tents below the 3 wax apple trees to be used as recycling area.
Under the wax apple trees, the recycling station thrived. But with the urbanization rapidly changing and the issue of recycling trucks unable to enter the alley, the Tzu Chi Muzha Recycling Educating Center relocated in 2010. When the recycling truck is dispatched to the community, it is a standard to have 2 people per truck.
Because they come in to do recycling, our trust decreased a lot. It's more convenient and the community is cleaner.
Cleanness comes from our action. This allows our hearts to receive positive energy while doing the action of recycling.
This recycling station based in Muzha is a top pick for outdoor activities for nearby schools. Volunteer Ling Shijie continues his mother's work and passion for recycling even though she is in an intensive care unit.
My mother is in an intensive care unit. She even dreams about doing recycling while she sleeps. I hope that she gets better soon so we can do recycling together. She is trying her best to get well because she hopes to return to the recycling station.
My mother told me if someone throws away a thing, we take it. If someone doesn't want to do it, we do it. This is like life's principle, like Master Zheng Yan told us, we have to do it with sincerity.
Tzu Chi Muzha Recycling Educating Center is a starting point and also ending point, and it has stood the testament of time. But the ideals and good deeds here will only accumulate over the tides of time.
A Malaysian city volunteer named Champa Ren cherishes materials. He utilizes his mechanical specialty and assembles waste into creative items.
Beautiful piano chords resonate. It is hard to see that this piano was built with waste by Chang Pai-zhen.
I specialize in mechanics, so I use these skills.
Continuing the lifespan of waste, Tzu Chi volunteer Chang Pai-zhen will bring home waste, a treasure in his eyes.
We continue the lifespan of these wastes. Everything begins with thriftiness. Once the item is fixed and usable, we are practicing being thrifty.
Many things broke down, and I don't want to throw it away. This is why we recycle it and reuse it.
In order to educate locals the benefits of eco-friendliness, Chang Pai-zhen created a water-saving system in the recycling station.
Mr. Jiang also does this eco-friendly system in his home, and he brought this idea to us and promoted the idea of saving water.
This is to teach people how to turn kitchen waste into organic waste. The outcome provides nutrition to the entire system.
Chang Pai-zhen, through using his specialty and his ideas of cherishing materials, gave these items a second chance of life.
In Malaysia, Tzu Chi scholarship recipient Lim Xiaoli's family faces difficulties as her father is unable to work due to kidney problems. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers have provided scholarship to help this family. To reciprocate Tzu Chi's help, Lim Xiaoli has started to join volunteers on home visits and recycling.
Carrying food supplies and following Tzu Chi volunteers to each doorstep, these tasks are seemingly impossible for Tzu Chi scholarship recipient Lim Xiaoli.
I was always an introvert. Every time upon each visit to the household, volunteers will ask the people how they're doing. They usually express a want for education, but it's limited by money.
She can learn in a variety of ways because she has to gain more experience out here. By being with us to pay visits, she can see life in multiple perspectives.
Lim Xiaoli's father has to undergo dialysis due to health situations, so the family lacks a main source of income. Tzu Chi volunteers based in Malacca not only gave cash support to the family, but solved the education issues for the children.
Early on, I saw her grades on average level, but nowadays I see her effort to try her best. And then she wanted to better her family's condition.
Upon each visit, volunteers will ask how my father is doing, checking on his feet and head's condition. I think they're doing a lot.
Lim Xiaoli understood the essence of impermanence through each visit, which made her cherish moments in life.
Auntie can help so many people with her abilities. In the future, I want to be like her.
Goodwill spawns from the heart, along with the act of giving to others. Lim Shelley obtain more confidence and power for the future.
In Malaysia, the government has implemented a rule which means starting on August 1st, people must wear masks on public transportation and in public places. The government said that people can wear either surgical masks or fabric masks.
After the regulation was implemented, people are afraid of being fined 1,000 ringgits. People are afraid of the fine. There is no virus in Penang. Penang is a green zone, so people are not afraid. If you cook food for a month, it will only cost you 200 some ringgits. 1,000 ringgits can sustain you for 5 months. Do you know that?
I'm afraid of the virus. How can I not be afraid of it? We must wear face masks.
During the movement control order period, I could not do business. I did not have income for 2 months. If there's another movement control order, my business will stop again. That's why we are afraid.
To protect ourselves, we must wear face masks. It does not matter if other people are wearing them. The important thing is I'm wearing a mask.
Starting on June 10th, the Malaysian government has implemented the Recovery Movement Control Order. People follow the government's SOP to resume their economic activities. New cases of COVID-19 increased steadily since June 23rd. However, starting on July 17th, the cases increased drastically. People start to slack off in taking preventative measures. Therefore, the government implemented that starting on August 1st, people must wear masks on public transportation and in crowded public places. Violators will be fined 1,000 ringgits.
If we do not follow the SOP to prevent the pandemic, it will be like fueling the pandemic, which meant the increase of confirmed cases.
The Malaysian government also allows people to wear reusable masks. There are surgical masks, fabric mask covers, and 3-layer fabric masks. How do people choose them?
As we wear masks, our saliva, nasal mucus, and fluid won't spray to other places. It is contained inside the mask. As long as we wear masks, it can protect us. I want to reduce my risk to the lowest point. I should use surgical masks. It has certain filtering effect. It can filter about 99% of the bacteria and virus. Reusable masks can reduce the chance of infection, but if you really encounter virus, its protection effect is not as good.
Wearing masks can reduce the chance of the spread of the virus. Wearing masks can protect ourselves as well as the people around us. Although surgical masks can effectively prevent the spread of bacteria, they need to be discarded when torn and used. To avoid the wasting of masks, a lab technician has suggested the use of reusable masks. When face masks get dirty, torn, or wet, one needs to change to a new one. There are 1.77 million people in Penang. If every person changes to a new face mask every 8 hours, in a day, people in Penang will need about 3.54 million face masks. Do we have other choices?
Besides surgical masks, as long as we can ensure they are safe to use, fabric mask is another choice. There are many fabric masks on the market. Mainly, we need to ensure it has 3 layers. The outer layer is waterproof, the middle layer filters bacteria, and the inner layer, which is usually cotton, absorbs water, saliva, and droplets. It is best to choose the masks that have been approved and the bacteria filtering efficiency is more than 95%. Then we can use them safely.
Although reusable masks can last longer than surgical masks, they need to be maintained to ensure they can resist bacteria.
After we use fabric masks, we take it off and we can wash them with washing machine or with our hands. It is suggested that we use water that is more than 65 degrees in temperature. After washing it, we can tumble dry it or sun dry it.
When we need to drink water, we should take the string off our ears and use one hand to hold the mask. Avoid touching the outer inner layers of the mask to decrease the chance of contamination.
According to the WHO's suggestion, if you have difficulty breathing or have respiratory diseases, you should wear surgical masks. If you still have difficulty breathing, you should avoid going out to reduce the time you need to wear a mask.
Although wearing masks can decrease the chance of bacterial infection, we still need to take other preventative measures, such as keeping social distancing and avoid crowd gathering to fight the spread of the virus. In Tainan, Cho Sheng switched from being a tailor to working as a mason 34 years ago to earn more money for her physically challenged daughter to seek medical care. Now her daughter can take care of herself and is very filial.
When I first started doing this, it was really tough. For about a month, I did not have time to eat.
Cho Sheng, who was a tailor, followed her husband and became a mason 34 years ago.
It was really hot. She would go to work for a day and tell me she is not doing this anymore when she returned home. The next day, she still put on her helmet and followed me to work. So I'm very grateful to my wife.
Cho endured the hard work because she had to earn more money for her youngest daughter, who has cerebral palsy and needs medical treatment.
When she was 3 or 4 years old, her head was still hanging low. During lunch break, my wife had to feed my daughter before taking a nap. So I appreciate my wife.
The family got through the tough times, and the youngest daughter is now 34 years old.
When I get off work, I call her and said, "Mom is coming home." She said, "All right, I will wait for you."
At home, her daughter is mopping the floor. Although she's physically challenged and has no strength in her right hand and foot, she can still do much.
I do not feel at ease letting her stay home alone, so I find some manual work to do at home. This way, I can take care of her and ensure that her hands stay healthy.
In recent years, Cho has not been feeling well, so she switched to doing some manual work, which allows her to care for her daughter.
I need to work diligently to make money, or else when I pass away, what will happen to her? I don't mind working hard. If one has money, one can live a comfortable life at nursing homes. If one does not have money, who will care for you?
To save money, Cho has rented a storage and started doing manual work. The partition room is the living room for the family.
This is where my daughter sleeps. There is a mattress. I sleep on the top. My husband sleeps here. I owe her a lot, so no matter how much hardship I endure, I think it is worth it.
Cho has taught her daughter to do household chores so she can help the family. So her daughter is very considerate. She has even taught her mother how to use line.
Sometimes I tell her if it was not for her, I would have died. When I was hospitalized, she took care of me. I feel very content.
Cho feels very content as her daughter is filial. In the past 6 years, Cho and her husband have joined a construction volunteer team set up by Labor Affairs Bureau of Tainan City government.
I think that I am very fortunate. As a volunteer, I meet people who are marginalized. There are many people who suffer more than us. We are truly blessed. So I do not feel that I am living a harsh life. I do not feel that way.
Having helped more than 100 people, Cho feels content. Even when she's sleeping on a chair, she still cherishes having the companionship of her daughter.
Mom, you have worked hard. Thank you.
In Taiwan, Dalian City Hospital has celebrated its 20th anniversary. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.